Hello, hello. Oh, it's so good for you guys to join us. How are you today? Were you just hearing me talk about how our pool almost flooded today? It's crazy. Um, so I am so excited. We have been behind the scenes working on some things that are it's going to give you a little bit more play with your pen and plan products. We're going to talk about those, and we're also going to put together 2 cards today. I did some prep work because I wanted to be prepared for you guys and show you that I am capable of creating something. And so, yeah. I am going to go ahead because I feel like at 4 minutes in, if people want to come on, keep joining, that's fine. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go to the desktop, and I should probably introduce myself, even though I know most of you in here probably know me. I'm Lisa from This Calls for Confetti, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here with me today. We have a lot of fun things coming. The blueprints that I'm getting ready to share with you, that's only part of it. We have new product releasing August 6th. We have new product coming in September. We're going to have new product coming in October, November, and December. Fingers crossed, all goes well. But yes, we have been so busy behind the scenes designing new products and just trying to get things turned in. And just, it's just been crazy, but it's been fun. So yeah, I'm excited for it. No stress. We all know. Oh, you're so sweet. It's a lot different when you're sitting behind a camera and no one sees you and you're just creating, and then you go and you edit all of this stuff out, right? And then it's totally different when you're on camera and everything is live, because it's like, for me, Butterfingers and all the things that could go wrong, they're probably going to go wrong, and y'all are going to be like, that girl's a hot mess. Anyway, so I appreciate you for being here. Let's switch down to the desktop so we can talk about this new blueprint system that we have and make 2 cards real quick, because I have some fun tips I want to share with you about these cards. Okay, so here you can see I have some cards laid out. And if you remember, I started with this whole idea here, just playing around with a color palette, trying to get a feel for things, um, you know, just just messing around really. And then when I went live with you guys last time, I actually ink blended this panel here on line with you during the live. And then we also created a little quick shaker card. So after I hopped off the live, I was like, Lisa, you can do better than that, girl. Come on, where was your head? So I went back to the table and I ended up creating this shaker card, which you can see I pulled out the express delivery stamp set and created the background. Also, the Layer It die set has this fun postage die cut in it. And then also the frames are in that layering die set. I love that set. I used my little trick that when I cut the frame, I kept the center, and then I cut out a piece of scrap white paper, glued my center to the scrap white paper to create the back for my shaker element, and then it centers up perfectly. You can also save yourself a lot of headache when you do it this way, because you can lay your shaker bits down on the ink blended part, and they're going to be in the center, and then you have this laying flat, and then you go over with your frame to adhere it to the scrap white cardstock that this ink blended piece is adhered to. So I was like, yeah, that's more like it, right? In the meantime, while I was working with the snowflake stencil, I said, guys, we need a snowflake die, right? So not only are we figuring out things for the pen and plan, I'm also in the process saying, we need this, we need to add this to our catalog, we need to add that to our catalog. So we have come up with a lot of fun things over the past week. So here you've seen these if you're following along on Instagram during our Merry Mischief event that's happening with Mr. Bigfoot. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. And it likes to go really quick. Okay, there we go. All right. Is that focused? Yes. All right. So you may have seen these during our Merry Mischief event over on Instagram. We're sharing inspiration for you guys for the holidays. We have the 25% off sale going on right now for Christmas products. Be sure that you're going and hunting down those little misplaced items that Mr. Bigfoot has left scattered about the North Pole while he was helping Santa. So much fun. And then everybody, well, we're doing a daily prize on Instagram. And then at the end of the week, we'll send out a Google form for you to fill out where you found the icons on the website. And then someone's going to win a gift card. So in the meantime, you guys know we have the free printable, and that's what I used to create these two cards here for that event because I wanted to show you a fun way to use these. As Carrie was doing her deconstructed stenciling in the last event, and then I started playing around with the pen and plan to come up with a card for the Merry Mischief event, I thought, this would be what we need is a way to show people how to take the pieces and use them without keeping this same layout, right? So as I did here, I just took my pieces and I laid them out. And as I was laying these out, I was like, we really need something that will guide people into how to lay these out so you're not having to spend hours trying to figure out a configuration for these. And then that's when I came up with this whole idea of blueprints. And I was like, let me get over to the computer real quick and see how many blueprints I can come up with. So you can go to the website and you can see across the top of the website, it says blueprints, and you can click on that blueprints and it's going to bring you to a page. It's going to tell you all about the blueprints. It has pictures. We have 4 blueprints so far, but the system that I created for this is super simple. So you're going to start with your, I thought I had it printed out. I'm pretty sure. Yep, I have it right here. Nope, that's not the right one. Okay, so you're going to start out with your original pen and plan layout. And each block in that pen and plan is numbered. I know I printed that thing out. Anyways, so these are all number 1s. These are number 2s, 3. This one is 4 and this is number 5. On the website, you'll see that it's laid out just like this, but it's the original configuration of the pen and plan, and it has numbers that coordinate with each shape. So what I did was I took it upon myself to take those shapes and figure out ways to use them. And you can go to the website, access it, and use it anytime you want it. It's free for you to use. It's always going to be there. In fact, I'm so loving this idea that I thought, what if we came out with a new pen and plan die that had different shapes in it that you could use with the original pen and plan die and we'll have new blueprints to go with that, so that you can put all of it together. And if you can hear that, they're out there spraying my yard right now, and he'll be done in just a few seconds. So here's the pen and plans, and that is an idea that just came to me from watching Carrie do her deconstructed stenciling and me figuring out a way to use these pieces like this on this card here. And it really does make it so easy to print that free printable as many times as you want, foil it or just ink blend over the black, and then you can run it through your die cut machine either with the dies from the stencil and die bundle or the original Pen and Plan die to cut it out. And then you can just lay them out like this. So that's pretty simple. Like I said, you can go over to the website and you can click blueprints and you'll see that there. Now, I thought while we were here, I would show you how I put these cards together. If you didn't catch it in the first, well, you can go back to the first live and you can see how I did this ink blending with the color palette that I used, which were all Distress Oxide inks. And you can also see how I used the snowflake over that ink blending to create the first panel that I did, which was this one here. So red, pink, antique linen, and then I used the Salvage Patina down here. And then we just used our snowflake stencil over that with the same colors, tone on tone, and ink blended it. And I love this color palette. It's so gorgeous. So I wanted to continue to use it throughout the month so you guys could see how many different ways you could use this, right? So for this card here, what I've done is, and I went ahead and did a lot of the work. I have all the things here. So I have my pieces that I did the ink blending on. I did foiling with my ink machine, and then I ink blended over that. And then after I was done ink blending, I just wiped it off lightly with a rag and cleaned the ink off of the foiling so it would be nice and shiny and pretty. Okay, so and then I took my die from the Layer It die set. This is that postage die, and it really is very much like a true postage stamp, and the corners are not exactly these two corners are the same and these two corners are. But if you look at a postage stamp, a true postage stamp, the corners are weird looking, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to start with our express delivery stamp set just to create a little bit of an edge around the die cut piece here. And I'm not even, you know what, I'm going to be brave. I'm not even going to use my Misty. I'm just going to grab a block and stamp. Because I feel like not everybody has all the tools that we have. So it's good to show people that you don't necessarily have to have all of the tools, right? Okay, inks, got them right here. And we will be coming out with some more things that you can use with the pen and plan. We have some stamps in the works and some other ideas that you'll be seeing. So what I like to do is I actually like to use the lines that are in this stamp set. And when I did this, I actually laid down all the pieces first, and then I just went in around the edges and filled in the space. You could most certainly do that if you wanted to, or you could do like I did on my card here, and I just started randomly stamping. Does anybody here love to randomly stamp? Because I absolutely love to randomly stamp. Like, it makes me so happy just to stand here and just start laying the ink down. And I don't even care on stuff like this if I get a perfect impression. It doesn't matter to me if it's perfect. So if you want to do random stamping, you can open up all of your inks, or you can just do one color at a time, which is usually what I do. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and start to just play around here. I do have me a rag right here that I'm just wiping my stamp off as I go through. Now, do you see this? Don't worry about that. Chances are it's going to get covered up. This is just something that I have always loved doing, is just grabbing stamps and just start stamping. It to me, it's just, there's something so freeing about not being held to you know, a certain way of doing things. Just let it be yours. Let's see, let's go up top and stamp off the edge. And I think I'm going to come right down here and stamp off the edge there and there. And like I said, I'm not even worried about that, because this being stamps, you can grab, let me get this one. This is the one I'm looking for. You can grab another little stamp if that bugs you, and you can stamp over it, because it's a stamp and it's actually supposed to look like something is running right through this, right? See? Doesn't matter. It does not have to be perfect, especially on a background. I do like to kind of be careful not to get ink on the, let's do this color up here. And I'll even go right to the very edge there. I think we'll stop there. So now that we have our background, just a little bit of interest to that background. It doesn't have to be, I mean, it can be anything you want it to be, but I'm just saying it doesn't have to be so busy or anything. And you will probably see me come back in once I get these pieces added and go at it one more time just to fill in any empty spots. So what I'm going to do is just audition these pieces here to see where I want things to go. And once I have them lined up, I'm going to trim this piece because there's a little bit of white showing where I didn't have my die lined up perfectly. Okay, so my pieces are pretty much where I'm going to have those. This comes together pretty quick. So you can use little round foams. You can use glue and go straight down if you don't want dimension, but y'all, I'm a dimension girly. I can't help it. I love me some dimension, right? So just a couple of glue round foam dots to the back of these, and we're ready to start adding them. Now, this is a scary part for a lot of people, but I always say, don't let it scare you. And what I do is I take the corner of my piece here and I try my best just to line it up with the corner up here. I figure out exactly how much distance I want around the edge of my piece, and then I just line it up and place it down. That's it. So now we're ready. We're rolling. There's no going back from that now, right? So you're going to just work off of that. Same thing. I look at the corner of this and the corner of my cardstock there. I line it up across the top the best I can, trying not to get my head in the camera. Let me move this down for just a sec. There we go. And there we are. We're good to go. And the blueprints really will, that stuck to my finger instead of the card. The blueprints really do take this guesswork out of it for you. You can figure out the spacing that you want. And on the page, it tells you all of that, how to go about figuring out, you know, like it's your card. You figure out how much space you want between each piece. But it at least gets you, gives you a good head start as to where to lay things down. And we will have more of those. I just haven't, I started with 4 because I felt like 4 was a great number just to get started. And I will be doing more just as soon as we get through this whole designing and getting things ready for the holidays. I think we're taking a new step for This Calls for Confetti because the industry is really slow right now, period. I think it's slow for every company, not just This Calls for Confetti. But I finally said to the girls, we just have to go for it, right? If we're going to stay in the race, we're just going to have to go for it. And we're just going to have to start putting out product. And I'm just going to have to figure out how to make that happen. And so that's kind of what we've been doing. So, like I said, we have some new things coming August 6th, which I'm super excited for because one of those things is actually a new to us product. It's not new to the industry, but it is a new to us product. All right, so see, we quickly got those placed down. So let me find where how do I lose stuff so quickly? I just don't know. There it is. Okay, so while I was ink blending, I wanted to let you guys know this. I actually went ahead and did an extra panel. And I did it the same exact way that I did on the printable because I wanted to be able to cut extra pieces if I needed them. So while I was ink blending this, I just grabbed a piece of white cardstock and blended another piece so I would have that extra piece. Just so you know, that's how why I have the extra pieces I have. And I have them right here. So we're just going to dump them out. And then I am going to grab, there they are. I think I can make these work. I might have to cut them in half. We'll see. I am going to, will they work? Will it be too big? Will you see it? It actually works. Okay, so these are the extra pieces that I cut out, and I'm just going to take them and line them up in this empty spot here because it really needs something, right? I am going to cut these in half because I'm scared one wrong move is going to it's going to end up showing, right? So I just cut that piece, those pieces in half. Let go of my piece, please. And when I was placing these, I was just placing them in the order that I ink blended. So red, pink, antique linen, and then the salvaged patina color. That one needs to go up just a hair. And then pink. Tweezers really make a huge difference in laying this down. Also, glue would help. If you wanted to put a little dot of glue on the back of your sticky piece there, that would give you a little bit of wiggle time there. I think we all have learned that, right? Let's see. actually going to grab my tweezers to make this a little bit easier because that's not exactly perfect, but that's okay. That makes it so much easier. Oh, you've never cut the pieces while they were on? Yeah, and then if you don't use them all, you can just leave them on there and they'll be there waiting for you for the next time you need them. And I guess it all depends on, well, I mean, how do you store your pieces? I could have went down a little bit with those, but that's okay. Because remember me saying that I might come back in and add some more detail to this. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right there. So how do you guys store your pieces like this? I'll show you how I keep mine just as soon as I get through this card here. Okay, so I need to find, see, I lose stuff. Am I the only person that loses all the things? There it is. I need a stamp. I need a stamp. Okay, I want to do, I think we'll do red right there. I'm going to take my stamp and I'm just going to ink up half of it. I'm going to come in right here and add a little bit of red to the bottom of this. And then over here, I feel like I need to come in and add a little bit of something there. And right there. Let's do a little bit of pink right there. And if you're wondering how I'm figuring out what color to use, I just look to see what's not near, you know, what don't I have in that area there. And I can see I don't have any pink here, so let's just throw a little bit of pink there, right? Up here, I think I'm going to do a little bit of the Salvage Patina color. And I'm actually going to come in and do something different. Let's take the little stamp. I'm only going to ink up just the edge, one edge of it, not the whole thing. And I'm just going to stamp it right there. That's cute. And we can do the same right down here too. There we go. All right, so we have our card front ready. And I just used a craft cardstock card base for this. I think it just pops right off of there. And then the last thing that we're going to do to this card, we're going to add some beads to it, some flat back beads. Yeah, it's not a good idea to stick that plastic thing down on the sticky mat. Okay, let me get caught up some on the conversation. I've never seen a live before. Yeah, definitely not a pro. If you could see the things that I end up scratching my head on in my craft room, I'm like, really? What were you thinking, Lisa? What were you thinking? So I'm just going to add some little beads here on these. You could use any, if you're using silver foil, we have the beads in silver. We also have these in black for Halloween. They're called raven beads. They're really pretty. We also have some pearls. We have some red pearls that are amazing for little reindeer noses. I showed that in the live on a card I had made last year. with the random stamping with this stamp set, and then used a little red pearl on his nose. So you're going to laugh when I tell you this, but placement of sequins, that is not my thing, y'all. It is not my thing. And my best friend, she is very funny about where you put your sequins down, and she will message me. I'll send her a card of my or a picture of my card, and I'm like, look at this. And she was like, yes, you did good with the placement. You did good with placement. I was like, And sometimes she'll be like, I'm not crazy about where you put those sequins. And then I tell her I'm going to throw it in the trash. And she's like, don't you throw that in the trash? Okay, so to the back of this, we're just going to add some glue. Make sure our card is right side up. Center it on here. And I just look at the corners. Every time I'm lining something up, I'm just looking at the corners of my die cut piece and the corner of my card, and I'm laying it down and I'm done with it. So there's our first card. Using that free printable, this is the same ink blending we did in the first live with you guys. That is Express Delivery stamp set, which is on sale right now. It's such a great little stamp set. You can do so much with it, right? So the next card I'm going to show you is this. How to make a shaker card using the Pen and Plan die. Now you do need the die for this because it cuts out all the windows, but I'm telling you, when you see how easy this is, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I can do that. That's easy peasy, right? So I have all of my pieces because I really wanted to be prepared, and since I'd already showed you guys how to do the ink blending in the first video, which you can go back and rewatch that or watch it if you haven't seen it. I wanted to not have you, stuck here for a long period with me. I am going to share with you these free printables that I foiled, because if you don't have them, I think if you see them foiled, it makes such a huge difference in the way they look. Is that not? It's just so pretty when you foil it. And they really do. If you have a laser printer, they really do foil up beautifully. And we're thinking of adding some of these to our foil and blend line. So there's that one. And this is the one that we were using today. Isn't that pretty? I love foiling. It's one of my favorite things. Okay, so here we go. What you're going to do to make a shaker is, we have our background here, ink blended, ready to go. I did use the stencil because that's going to help you line this up when you get ready to cover up your shaker. So I have some heavyweight cardstock here. You can see I cut several layers of it out. And I'm going to show you how to do this. I do need to grab one thing. Let me grab that real quick. I need a piece of acetate. We do have foilable acetate in our shop if you haven't seen it. Let's see how. I want to be sure it's wide enough for me to do this. So I'm going to cut it a little bit smaller than 4 1/4 because it'll make it easier when you go to lay this down. And I'm going to cut it just a tad bit shorter than 5 1/2 because that's the size of our panel. Our panel is an A2. Okay. All right, so here's the part that's very aggravating for a lot of people, is how do I go about taking this thin frame and adhering this to it. You're going to want to grab you some dotted tape runner. If you don't have a dotted tape runner, I keep one handy all the time. This video might change your mind about them, because what I do is I lay down just a scrap piece of paper. This is just real thin printer paper. And I put my piece down, and I'm just going to take this and run it all over my piece here. And what's happening is the glue is, or the tape is laying down on the die cut piece. As you can see, easy peasy, right? You're not standing there trying to run tiny little dots of glue all over everything, making a mess. Just lift this up, move this to the side so you don't get anything on your piece that you're getting ready to lay down. I'm going to start to lay this down. So I'm just lining this up to the top. I don't worry too much if there's a little bit hanging over, because you can take it to the paper trimmer and trim it down, or you can trim it down with a good pair of scissors. And just like that, you've created the front to your shaker. I got a little bit of something on mine right there, but it'll be all right. Then what I do to continue with this is I bring this back into the picture. I lay another one down, and I do the same thing all the way around. And here's the really cool thing. I don't know if you can see this. Let me lift it up. You can look at this and see, I don't know if you can, where the little dots are laying down. I think it was Simon who had come out with big sheets of dotted paper at one time. I don't know if they still have them, but you could take your die cut piece and lay it down and burnish it over the piece of dotted adhesive, and then it would pick it up, and then you would just remove the die cut piece like this, and then you just kept using that sheet until you used it all up. Do you guys remember that? Am I the only one who's... please someone tell me you remember Simon having those sheets of dotted adhesives. So I just take my pieces when I'm adhering them, and I squeeze them between my fingers to line them up. That's all I do to make sure that they're getting that line, that's just lining up right. See there? There's our first layer done. So we're going to continue to do that real quick. And when this starts to get too sticky, fold it over and go at it again. You just want to make sure when you're laying this tape, the dots down, that it's getting on all the pieces. And this is a heck of a lot easier than gluing a bunch of things together, because the glue usually ends up making a big old mess on my plastic if I try to do that. So I found this just to be the easiest, cleanest way to create a shaker card. One more and we'll be done. So here's the thing. When you go to put this together, you're going to want to lay your glue dots on the front of this piece and then flip it over and add it. I'll show you that. So when I first started making cards, I loved the glue dot runners. I was not a fan of liquid glue at all. And I don't know what happened to change that, but then I became a huge fan of liquid glue and not so much of the tape runners. But I'm quickly learning that they both have a place in my craft room, right? Obviously, because I've used glue during this live and I've used the tape runner. So there you can see how I just take it, squeeze it between my fingers to make sure it's lining up right, and then just go around it, just like that. All right, we're gonna take and get rid of this piece because it's got a lot of tape on it. I'm gonna grab another piece here. This time we're going down on the front of this. I might be coming to the end of this tape runner. See, I have them everywhere. And I have a whole drawer full of them because I usually buy them when they're on sale, and I'll buy a bunch of them at one time. All right, now we're going down to the plastic. Move that out of the way. And we're going to just line this up. Take your time with this part. Don't feel like you have to be in a hurry. But it's pretty easy, as you can see there, pretty easy. So one of the things that I would recommend is grab your bone folder and just press down on all of those pieces, making sure everything is stuck together, and you're good to go. Now, like I said, somehow I did get, I think that might have been on there from where I was cutting things earlier. Okay, so we have our, this is the back to our shaker. So I'm now on the hunt for, I'm telling y'all, someday, there it is right there on my desk. Oh my gosh. Glue does get all over the place, doesn't it, Sharon? And it's kind of like a headache sometimes, because it's like you go and you put all that work into getting all the pieces ready, and then the glue just gets everywhere. Okay, this is our candy corn white. These are tiny little sequins. They're really pretty though. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a few, not a lot, just a few, on each little section. Don't worry if they go places. We're going to take a second to clean these up. And you just want to make sure they're in the center of each of these sections. All right. Now, I'm going to do something that not everybody else will probably want to do, but it makes a difference if you drop 2 of these tiny little sequins into these openings here, so that you have sequins in all the places, right? If you're going to give me the bling, give me all the bling. And it only takes but just a few seconds to do this. I wouldn't do more than 2 of the tiny ones in there. You could also, if you have some little stamps, You could stamp a little icon like a star or a small snowflake in there. Again, this is why we need snowflakes here at This Calls for Confetti, right? So now this is the one time that we are going to grab our our tape runner again, see if I can get this one to work for me. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure I'm getting tape down on this whole piece. For some reason, this one is not wanting to turn. I might be getting to the very end of it. I think I am. Okay. So you want to make sure when you're doing this that you're, come on. All right, we're going in. We're going for it, you guys, because I would put a little bit of glue on the back of this for even after I laid the tape down, you would see me come in and do tiny little dots like that. So what I'm going to do is come along the outer edge here, very thin layer of glue, and I'm staying towards that outer edge with this so that when I go to add my card base down, I just got tired of fighting with that tape runner. It worked like a dream when I was using it earlier. Little dot there, 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 and there. Very thin, thin, thin. You want the lightest pressure when you're doing this. Like you really don't even want to do too much, right? All right, now watch how easy this is. And we're just gonna act like that's not messed up right there. I'll clean that up later. So we're just going to line this up with the pieces below. And there we've just created a really quick shaker card considering. That's how my stuff got messed up. Make sure you're always working on a clean surface when you're using acetate because it will pick up all the things. All right, now that we have that done, we're gonna wrap this up with a big sentiment on the front of this, and then you could just add this to your card base. Super simple. But this is what it looks like when you're done with it. I just think it's so pretty. I love all the tiny little things in there because you can still see, like the images aren't covered up. This is such a great tiny little confetti that's perfect for little things like this. And I'm also going to be doing, because Carrie shared a thing on Instagram about making mini shaker elements for your cards. I'm going to be doing, I'm not sure if it's going to be a live, but I am going to do a video teaching you how I made the little ho 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 elements from our ho 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 stencil and die bundle. So maybe a live, it may be a recorded video. We'll see. But I am going to do that. Okay, so I went ahead and I pre-die cut pieces for my sentiment using the Happy Holidays die set. This is one of the items that we said we were going to use this month. And I think both of us struggled at first with how we were going to use them. And then when I did the shaker card, I was like, oh, this will be perfect on that shaker card because it really did need a big element on the front of it. So I thought it worked out. And I'm like, well, I got the Happy Holidays in. So I was excited for that. So as you can see here, this stuff I'm digging through. I die cut the letters twice. I did it in white, and then I used my ink blended panel to cut them again because, again, your girl loves dimension, and I want to layer these up. Now, you most certainly do not have to do all of that because I have been known to be one that, well, just does too much. I just do a little bit of glue while it's on my lift and release tool, and then I lay it down. All right, clean that out. Pick it up with the sticky end, tiny dots, and then lay it down. And you can put a block on this and let this dry while you're doing each word. And yeah, that does happen sometimes, and that's okay. Just don't get stressed out over it. Again. Straight down to my die cut word. Press down. Okay, so while that's doing that, sitting there drying with a block on the top of it, move that out of the way. We'll move on to the holidays. I probably should have put one of these together and just showed you guys a couple of steps of, how to do this. Like I said before, we're learning. I feel like this might be the best one so far, the best live I've done so far. I'm telling you guys, I cannot wait for you to see all the fun things that we have coming. What I did was I went back through our catalog of products, and I looked at the items that we have, that a lot of you already have these items, and I thought, what can we do to breathe new life into what we already have? So you're going to see some really fun things that are going to go with products you may already have in your stash. And I am so excited for them. Make sure I get these on here straight, because there's nothing like making a card with die cut letters and realizing after you've posted the card to social media that your A is backwards on the card. Yeah, I did that. It's still on my Instagram, but it's way down on the feed. I was like, I'm not going to change it because I think the card says something about everything being okay. And I was like, you know what? I'm not changing it. I'm not going to take it off. I'm not changing it. I'm going to leave it on there because in the end, everything was okay. But we all have the same, we all do the same things in the craft room. Put our card panels on upside down, continuously drop glued die cut letters on the glass top, put our die cut letters on our cards backwards. And I think it was even a shaker card, and I had laid the letters out and die cut them so they would be little windows. And then when I got to looking at it after I had already posted it, I was like, oh, that's Brilliant, Lisa. Brilliant. Nothing like putting it on there backwards. So, oh, Karen. Karen is on her way home from a trip to Vegas. We want to feel sorry for her, but we can't, right? So, is anybody in here going to the Spellbinders event? I'm going. Alana's going. We're excited. Yeah, I've been known to make quite a few cards that open the wrong way. But you know, a quick fix is just cut it and save the back for your another panel, and then glue the front to a new card base. Just don't glue it on there backwards. Ask me how I know. This little tool I have here, everybody has them for picking up sequins and stuff, but you can do so much more with these than just use them for sequins. You want to be gentle with them because this is a wax tip and it will break. But we actually have replacement wax tips. As you can see me doing this here, look how easy that makes that, right? I mean, especially, I don't know about you guys, but for me, as I'm getting older, my hands just don't want to cooperate with me anymore. Sharon, you don't know about the Spellbinders. Oh, what fun event. Yeah. I think every card maker at some point, look, if you haven't adhered your card panel upside down to your card base, are you even really a crafter? That's my question for you, right? I mean, really, it's like foiling with the glimmer machine. If you haven't foiled your plates, are you really a crafter? I should do a thing on that. Do a little spoof on social media about, are you really a crafter if you haven't done these things, right? See how easy that makes that? I'm telling you, you use this thing for so much more than just sequins. Just little tiny dots. And then all you have to do is pick it up, lay it down. The hardest part is the first part when you're adhering it to the back. And somewhere along the way, I have misplaced my eye. Well, I guess I'm going to be on the hunt for that. Are you really a crafter if you don't lose everything that you're trying to use? And we need glue there, don't we? Okay. Now I get to try to find that eye. There it is. I found it. Yay. It's the little things in life, right? Oh, yes. I've cut into the wrong plates too. Yes. Oh, you're going to Scotland? Oh, I would much rather be going to Scotland than going to the Spellbinders event. Can you put me in your suitcase? Do you have family in Scotland, or are you just going because it's something you want to do? Tell me all the things, Sharon, I need to know. Okay, so we're going to pop this up with a little bit of foam tape. And I want to show you why I love these big Happy Holiday word dies, because they are so easy to add tape or foam tape to the back of them because of how big they are. And we have Happy Holidays, Deck the Halls, and then we have another set that's called Merry and Bright. And within that set, you can do Merry and Bright, or you can do Merry Christmas. And because it has enough in there for you to do quite a bit with it, like different sayings, right? It's a big set. I really do love that. But you know, I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you wouldn't have the shadow for it, but you could easily use the die cut letters to create other words. If you were in a pinch and you needed, say, hello or something like that, you could quickly cut that out of these die sets. Okay, so then we would adhere these right to the front of this. If you had, okay, so I have a question. If there was one thing that you could say, I wish a company would make for, say, Christmas, that you've never seen done, what would it be? Now, I know that I want to do something related to the song Silver and Gold. I probably shouldn't say that on a live. They'll probably get me for it. Anyways, so what I was going to say is that my dad, when we used to have these big Christmas parties with my mom and my dad, I was older. This was later in life. We would do a lot of things to prep for these parties, right? And as we would prep for these parties, decorating my mom's house and prepping food for it and everything, like making holiday candy and stuff. And my dad would always be there helping too. We would listen to Christmas music, and my dad, whenever the song came on, he would just belt it out. Silver and Gold. Remember the song from, I'm not going to say the artist, because if I do, they'll get me for it, but it was from one of those cartoons that we used to watch. Anyways, I want to do something dedicated to my dad off of Silver and Gold so bad, because that's a memory that I have of him that will forever be just, mine. And I just want to do something like that. And people have been asking for more of the Alice's stories. Yeah, Sharon, that's it. I didn't want to say it though, because you can get in trouble for saying different things, right? But people have been asking for more of the Alice's story stuff. And it's hard, y'all. It's so hard to revisit those things. People who say it gets easier with time, that is a lie. It is such a lie, because it feels like it's worse with time. But I do have some things planned for next year to continue with Alice's story. If you guys don't know about Alice's story, it's over on our website. There's a whole page dedicated to Alice's story, and it's all about my mama. And it's all about her and memories that I have of her, things that she would do. So our honeysuckle set, there's a memory on the back of the packaging that explains the significance of the honeysuckle, right? So people have been asking for more of that, but it's hard to revisit all of that sometimes. And sometimes I just have to pack it away and leave it alone for a little while, just for my well-being. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my mama, she was amazing. She was so amazing. She was hard. She gave me some life lessons, y'all, but she was, I tell people, she was the mama that I needed. She most definitely was. And my mama was the most beautiful I mean, inside and out. After she passed away, we would have people coming to us and saying, I don't know if you know this, but when I was going through this in my life, your mom, or they would say to my dad, your wife did this for me. She was just such an amazing individual. So, yeah. Okay, so this is our shaker card. I didn't adhere the pieces down, but I did want you to see that you can make a shaker card with this pen and plan. It doesn't need to be complicated. I did struggle a little bit with my tape runner, but I think it's because I'm getting to the end of it, so it was having a hard time dragging, because you saw in the beginning it was working pretty good. But definitely, I want to see if Simon still has those big sheets of the adhesive dots, because that would be so easy to work with. But definitely try the tape runner, the glue. It needs to be dots, that they work best. Try it and see how you feel about it, and let me know. Let me know if you think, no, Lisa, that was a bust. I did not like it. Or, yeah, it really worked. I always want to know how you guys feel about the tips and tricks I share with you. If you try them out or not, just let me know. I love to hear from you guys. And don't be scared to reach out to me. I love hearing from you. Oh, that's so sweet, Denise. Every year I would decorate my mom's house for her, and there was an ongoing joke. I'm going to flip back over to the screen real quick because I'm done with the card making process, and yeah, we'll talk for a few minutes and then we'll wrap this up. So every year we had a joke about um, my mom had precious moments, right? And she had this big cabinet and it had all these precious moments in it. And every year we had to take all the everyday precious moments out of the cabinet. And then we would have to put the precious moment village into the cabinet, which when I say we, I mean me. And then as every year rolled around, I would start making snide comments about doing this, and because I'm so much like my dad. And so I would say things like, oh my gosh, it's time for me to start having nightmares about the porcelain babies chasing me again, right? Or something like that. And she would be like, Lisa Ann. And me and my dad would just give her grief about that, because it was such, like, I bet you easily she had 200 everyday precious moments in that cabinet. And they're porcelain. You have to be so careful with them, right? And yeah, she got to where she was like, just leave the village in there. I'm not worried about it right now. So when she passed away, the village was still in there, and it's still in there to this day. My dad hadn't taken it out. So yeah. Um, but I missed that so much. Um, my mom was so big on the holidays and making sure that and my grandma too. I come from a big family that would all meet at grandma's on Christmas morning and then go home and then go back to grandma's for Christmas dinner. I mean, my family was big and we spent a lot of time together. So, and even to this day, um, my dad has met this amazing, nice lady, Patsy. I love her. She's the sweetest thing. So Dad and and Patsy, and then I invite my aunt and my uncle. They come to my home. We eat. We share good times together. I'm very big on family. I love my family. I love my family. So yeah, we spend a lot of time together. But I do miss my mama. Something awful. In fact, we just got bad news yesterday about a very dear friend of hers, and it brings all of that back, right? Um, so Denise said her mom had some snow babies, which is funny because my mom bought me snow babies. And yeah, I treasured, like I said, she was a tough cookie, my mama was. She was a tough cookie on me too, but because I was a middle baby, that says it all right there, right? And I was the only girl. So yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to keep you guys here much longer because, I could talk to y'all all day about my mama. She was just that amazing. But I have some ideas that I want to share, some more stories about some things that stuck with me through the years with her. So we are going to have that coming in the new year. I cannot wait to show you guys what will be coming August 6th. So my next live, I do believe it is, will be sharing the new release. So it's going to be good. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the cards? Let's get focused back to the cards. Does anyone have any questions about that? The youngest of four? Oh, so you're the baby. I bet they just treated you like you were a princess, right? Oh my goodness. My brothers did not treat me like I was a princess. My oldest brother I fought with, my youngest brother, I didn't fight with him too much, but he was rotten. He was rotten. How many pen and plan layers did I use for the shaker card? Is that the question that you're asking me, Carrie? It really does depend on how much shake you want in if you want your stuff to move around a lot, then I think I did 5 layers on this one here that we were playing with. And you can see there's really not like, oh, there's some shake in it. So I would say at least 5. You could do more than that if you want to put something thicker in there. Like if you wanted to do polymer clay, I would say 7 or 8 layers. It really just depends on how much shake you want and how thick the things are that you're using in your card. So, yeah. Also, another fun thing you could do is a faux shaker with this. So maybe we should do one of those sometime in the future. Has anybody done a faux shaker before? But with a faux shaker, you wouldn't have to have the acetate. You could just glue your little pieces like they were falling down. I love faux shakers. I've made them in the past and they're a lot of fun. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's tough when the kids don't get along. When I say that I fought with my oldest brother, it was that true, just the sibling bickering type thing. But to this day, we really are there for each other. We are a tight family. If I needed something, I could call them, and it would be no problem. So you've never heard of a faux shaker before? Okay, well, Sharon, you just have given me an idea for a video. Faux shakers are a lot of fun and they're really easy to make. You don't need acetate for them. Your shaker pieces won't shake, but it will look like a shaker card. So, should we do one of those sometime in the near future? As a live, maybe? That would be good. Yeah, they're really easy, super easy to make, and you can use just about anything. But the pen and plan would be great for a faux shaker. So, if you have, does anybody have any other questions about anything? I'm just going to tell y'all, the longer I stay on here, the more I want to give you a sneak peek of what's coming. But I can't. Well, I mean, I can, but I mean, I probably should go, so I don't. It's so good. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And it's traditional, but there's a twist to it. It's good. So yeah. Okay, well, if there are no more questions about the cards or suggestions or anything like that, we'll go ahead and wrap this up and I will let you guys get back to your day. Please know how much I appreciate you. No, 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 no. She can't stop me though. That's the funny thing about it. If I decide to do it, it's like she's 1,000 miles away from me. She couldn't stop me if she wanted to. But I won't. I'll behave. I'll behave. Um, I appreciate you so much for spending time with me today. And I can't wait to come back and share with you the new release August the 6th. Mark your calendars. I will do a reminder and do, I think it's a premiere type thing that you can set up on YouTube so that you guys are notified about it. So I will try to remember to do that. And if that's it, we'll go ahead and close her down and get back to crafting. I appreciate you guys so very much. You guys take care, be careful out there, and please know how much we appreciate you so very much. Until the next time, yeah, I will talk to you guys later, okay? Have a great day and an amazing weekend.